one thing stronger in the world than all the armies of the world put together, and that is an idea whose time has come. Hello and a very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching this special presentation of Sansad TV on the journey of startups. And today, let's hear the story of fintech WeRize. WeRize is creating a new category in Indian financial services space. It's building India's first socially distributed full-stack financial services platform for families in small towns in India, as their financial needs have been largely underserved, since traditional players and even fintechs are unable to properly serve this segment.
As WeRize, the broader vision is to create the largest financial services product in India to solve the financial problems of tier 2 and lower middle class segment.
What we are trying to create is create customized products for the people in these small towns across loans, insurance, savings, which they do not have access to right now.
Basically, we focus on three main areas. First one is to build the distribution channel for our freelancers. The second one is to build the risk management and credit underwriting platform. And the third one is to build the product for our end users.
Their mission is to manufacture and distribute customized lending, banking, group insurance, and savings products to 300 million customers and their families in 4,000 plus small towns across India and help them rise in life. So Vishal and Himanshu, welcome to Sansad TV and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
being here.
us.
At the WeRize office in Bengaluru. But when we were talking off camera, Vishal, you said that ours is a unique company offering phygital services. That really intrigued me. Help me understand, what does that mean?
So even before I talk about the phygital model, which we have a very unique take on how to provide financial services to our specific customer segment, I'll talk about what we essentially do, who's our customer, and why have we chosen the phygital model. So we want to be the largest financial services brand for the middle India, which is the real Bharat, right? Now, there are different, in media, Bharat is being used in different terms being used for Bharat. But we want to be the largest financial services platform for middle to lower middle income customers living in small cities, Hubli, Dharwad, Surat, Ludhiana, Panipat, Sonipat, those kind of cities, not the metros, not the tier 1 cities. That's not the focus for us. Because that's, in our segment, is where the big financial inclusion gap is. So as a company, we are around 3 years old. We started our operations in April 2019. We have been fortunate to raise close to $26 million in equity.
Okay.
We have been blessed to have support of very good investors as well. So our investors, there are a lot of Indian investors like 314 Capital, Kalari Capital, as well as we recently raised a round where the participants were the government of UK. So they have a fund called British International Investment, so which was earlier known as CDC Corporation. Mm-hmm. They are a big impact focused investors where they primarily support companies which have an impact agenda, where they're helping underserved get financial services. That's they are there, as well as Sony Corporation from Japan. So these are the investors so far. Now, coming to the thesis that we are primarily focusing on, is we see India into 3 parts. India 1, 2, 3. India 1 is your millennial, Gen Z, taxpayer population. So you can say a European country within India, right? That's how it is, right? Yeah. There is a Dubai as well. There is a, like 7-10 lakh people who are super rich, right. Which is like a Dubai within India, right? But then this 50 million population and their family members, which is around 15 crore people, 5 crore earners and their family members, 15 crore. They are the target segment of private sector banks, most of the fintechs, the digitally savvy Amazon market,
exactly.
Swiggy market. That's the segment that everybody, and pretty much all of these people live in the larger cities. We go after one level lower, which are middle to lower middle income customers, somebody who's a teacher in a small school, somebody who is a sales guy working for Parle-G's distributor, somebody who's a medical representative for a pharma company, accountant in a factory, factory worker. That lot of people, 10 crore people, those and their family members, so 30 to 40 crore population. But above the India 3, which is the below poverty line, rural microfinance level. Mm-hmm. So what is happening in India is there is super and over penetration of financial services, be it lending, insurance, wealth, in the India 1. Everybody is going after the same segment, whether it's fintechs or if it is your private sector banks with
Right.
the HDFC now. In India too, India 3 also, so ironically, India 3 also has a decent penetration of financial services because government over the last 60, 70 years have done a good job with mudra loans and the microfinance and all. But the problem is that's geared towards the bottom 50% of Indian population. But there is this big population which is not rich enough for the private sector banks and not poor enough for the government support.
Right.
That segment, which is India 2 or the real Bharat, is where we want to go and build the largest financial services.
All right. So that again intrigues me and takes me back to the places that the two of you come from.
Sure.
So you come from Panchkula and you come from Mewat. Was that the inspiration?
So I come from a small village in Mewat. So I have seen that the financial inclusion or the penetration has not happened to the smaller places, right? So I have studied there, and I think that's the real truth, that people who study well and then who go and work for the corporates ultimately gets the financial benefits from the private sector bank. So after my schooling in government schools, I went to IIT and I went to Europe to further education, and I have been working in corporates, and that's where also I met Vishal in lending card, right? So in 2016 to 2018 we worked together in lending card, and we saw this opportunity in the smaller cities that we can penetrate, and then we started the company on our own. So yes, that's more or less where we thought about the idea, and we thought that this can be something that we can help the customers which are currently not served.
It's very, very, why don't we have our coffees?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Vishal, again, this holds true for you also. The quintessential story of a small town boy makes it to the top business school, goes to US, I believe.
Yeah.
Comes back to India with the vision of giving back to the country.
Yeah. So obviously, when we started this, if probably I had not lived in a small city, that perspective would not have been there, right? Given that we are focusing on building business specifically for the small city and towns of India. Now, so after my engineering college, I went to Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh, studied there computer engineering, then worked in Texas Instrument Bangalore for a couple of years, worked in Japan, Malaysia, etc. Then moved to Silicon Valley for a couple of years. And there I saw how the hub of innovation globally works, how startups really work, how tech companies were still quite big even during those days, right? But in 2009, while I had my green card process going on, and one of the choices was to stay on and live my life in US, that longing of doing something for India was already there, and as well as the opportunity, right? Like being an Indian, even at that time, India was the startup, not the startup hub like it is right now, and it's so good to see over the last 10, 12 years how India has really become this startup monster. But at that time, there was literally no startups in India. There was no Flipkart, no Zomato, almost nothing, right? So, but I came, I had admits from some of the top B schools in US, but I came and joined ISB. And the reason was very simple, that the opportunity to build in India was immense. So I thought, okay, let me go back to India and explore what's possible. And that time I kind of got my lucky break as well. So Amazon was just starting their operations in India, and I was lucky to be the first hire of Amazon India, and got hired by Amit Agarwal, who is the current Amazon India head. And had a pretty good run there, learned a lot how very well run companies are built. And then from there, I worked in Dubai with Amazon Middle East for a couple of years. Then I joined Lending Cart, which is one of the largest SME fintech startups, and that's where me and Himanshu met with each other.
That's the interesting story, Lending Cart.
Yes.
The two of you being together.
Yes.
But I'd just like to understand, when did this idea germinate that you have to come and launch your own venture, be together, work in this fintech space? When did that happen?
Around 2018 early. So one good thing about Lending Cart, it was a market leader in the SME lending space. In the fintech side, had raised quite a lot of capital, almost $100 million plus, and was the market leader. So being in Lending Cart, he was the person creating the entire data science models and credit underwriting models for Lending Cart, and I was the person being the chief business officer, leading the growth at Lending Cart. So I kind of got the bird's eye view of the fintech and the opportunity in India. So while lending card was attacking the SME underserved category, we saw a similar story playing out on the consumer side. And then we informally started to talk on कि वहाँ पे भी एक बड़ा तो दिखता है यार, consumer side पे भी कुछ कर सकते हैं, SME भी नहीं है.
We started the company in 2018, end of 2018, but the actual operation started in 2019.
But we did the research for like 7 to 8 months before we decided
Good amount of time.
to come out
And we had been working together for 2 years, so we knew well each other. We had our areas of strength, and we knew that there is a massive opportunity, underserved massive opportunity on the customer side that we should go after, and we should cater to that.
All right. So when the two of you were convinced, of course, about the idea, and you also told me that at the ideation stage, you raised massive capital. So how did you ensure, or how did you get your investors to say yes to your idea?
So obviously being senior industry, personnel, it kind of helps because
Certainly
there's
it does,
certain level of people know you,
Right.
and if you being, obviously pedigree education helps, plus our specific experience also helps,
Yes.
right? So we were able to convince. So we at that time we got like our early supporters who have been very ardent supporters of it. So our story is little different.
Okay.
So
Go ahead. All
as
yours.
compared to like rest of the fintechs who go after the Uber millennial Gen Z, the cool population, we go after the, we are little contra. Our thesis has been little contra to rest of the startup fintech ecosystem, right? Like if you look at any fintech startup, they talk about millennials and Gen Z, right?
Yes.
They talk about millennials and Gen Z, and we go after the middle and the lower middle class, the real Bharat, right? So so it was little different story at the beginning, but thanks to the early supporters, we were able to raise a good amount of capital. We did not have to go through the bootstrap cycle. So that was and we were able to like hire some of the best leaders.
So Vishal, two things that I can clearly see is that you take pride in your alma mater and and also your Bharat. But moving on, as you were talking about, the financial products that the two of you offer, your company offers. How difficult is it to convince people, especially in the small towns that you're catering to, particularly in the financial segment?
Yeah.
It's a task. So how did market validation come through for the two of you?
So one was obviously the data. There's being as we were senior leaders at Lending Cart, we were able to access the market, right? So like we could talk to different startups and talk to investors, etc., to understand then there is a gap. Then we actually did some surveys. We talked to customers, etc. When we started this company, before we honed on the idea, we like started talking to customers, small city customers. There were some databases. We started to talk. We started to understand what are the areas and gaps, right? And what we realized is that our customers are the customers of public sector banks, right? So in India 1, 2, 3, India 1 is where all your private sector banks like really focus on. All the fintechs, it's like overcrowded market. Everybody is going after the same 4-5 crore population and their family members. But India 2, suddenly the people that earn, let's say 10-20,000 a month, right? That segment is ignored by private sector banks and most of the fintechs. Now they go to public sector banks. Now public sector banks have done an amazing job, especially in last 5 to 6 years, on the financial inclusion by opening the bank account, Jan Dhan accounts, etc. But their focus and the business model is to take like the savings of the masses, but they supply the large corporates with the capital, right? Like infrastructure projects for the government of India. They do not have a big retail focus. To give you a metric, SBI, which is the best run PSU bank, the largest 50 crore customers, and they have only 1 crore credit cards, right? So that kind of shows the gap. And our customers are those remaining, 49. That's where we want to focus on, right?
Exactly.
So those customers do not have credit cards. They do not have unsecured loans. Even getting a housing loan, affordable housing loans, very difficult unless it's like a builder house, right? Insurance, they don't have insurance. They do have LIC, but LIC has more of a saving flavor to it. But the traditional health insurance like me and you have, or the term life insurance, these have like single digit penetration. In India, only 3 crore people have credit cards. Only 3 crore people. 4% people have health and life insurance, term life insurance. Yes, LIC has penetration, but that's more of a saving product, not the traditional term life product. right? Unsecured personal loans, similarly, just 2 to 3% penetration. So while almost everybody in India has a bank account, financial products are not there. It's only limited to the India one. And that's where we come in. And our thesis is, and to answer your question, right, that one has to build the entire category from top to bottom. It's not an easy task. So we are a full stack player, which means we are creating an entire category from scratch. So we create our own products, right, across the financial, like whether it's lending, insurance, or savings. We do our own risk management, and then we do our own distribution, and which is the largest play that we have built and probably the hardest.
Right.
So as you rightly asked me, how do you convince these customers, right? And you cannot do that digitally. Simply the answer.
Impossible.
It's impossible. While our customers do have WhatsApp, they use UPI, they use basic transactions, they watch videos on YouTube. But this is exactly the customer segment that needs guidance so that they can pick and choose the right product for themselves, right? That's why we went for the phygital model. Now, what we have done is, in India, there are like lakhs of freelancers that are already working for, working as a freelancer for someone. Like LIC has done an amazing job at building that network of trust of freelancers. Like I've heard numbers like 25 to 30 lakh freelancers who work for LIC, even right now. Right, then there is government has done this CSC agents, which are all entrepreneurs, freelancers working for government of India. Another like really amazing initiative. Right. There are people who are selling freelancing to sell saving schemes for post office. There are micro loan agents. Right. So there are like a lot of people who are already doing freelancing and are financially literate. So what we have done is, this is a network of trust that already exists. We have onboarded thousands of such freelancers. That's the platform that we have built, where we have currently more than 10,000 freelancers in 2,500 plus cities, where we have onboarded these freelancers, and we have the tech platform to manage these freelancers at scale.
Right.
And the big innovation that we have done, and we are the only company in the world which has been able to manage these freelancers at scale without any feet on street or branches of our own. So this office is the only office we have.
Okay.
Right?
That's very interesting.
Right. So we have served customers in 2,500 cities with no feet on street, no branches. To take example, LIC, which is the inventor of this model, has like lakhs of their own employees and branches in each and every village, each and every city, to acquire, manage, and train and grow the business of these freelancers. So their own team does all of that. We do everything through platform.
Okay, that's very interesting. But Himanshu, also the fact that this mustn't have been easy, as we were discussing, that these are financial products. What were the biggest challenges that you addressed during the course of your journey?
So the biggest problem that we identified was that how do you make the right financial products for these customers, right? So that required a lot of understanding, talking to a lot of customers, talking to our freelancers, understand what the actual need of the customer is, right? And the existing products that are there in the market for the customers are not suitable for them. So we custom built these products. And the second was, how do you make sure that the freelancers are advising the customers correctly and they get the right support? So we don't have a physical branch outside of Bangalore, but we are able to support them with our technology. We have customer app and the partner app, and through that we have been able to manage our customers and partners.
And just to add to him, that
Yes.
entire platform is in the vernacular, local languages. So
Local languages.
so for
It
the
is easy
comfort,
for
yeah.
people to-
So there are two platforms. One is a freelancer or the partner platform. So the 10,000 plus freelancers to manage. So whatever you can think, like an LIC's own employee will do on the ground to acquire, manage, and grow the business through these freelancers, we do through the platform.
Right.
So it's obviously saves a lot of cost, and we are probably the only fintech that is profitable right now.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so since we talked about profit,
Yeah.
let me end this conversation with the growth projections that you've thought of.
Sure. So as of now, we are at around $1 million monthly revenue, which is around $12 to $13 million annualized run rate. We are doubling every 6 to 8 months, right? And doing that profitably. So we reached EBITDA positivity like 2 months ago.
Okay.
And we expect to be like profit after tax, which is PAT, in just a couple of months. So pretty much the only
And we are
fintech,
only 3.5-year-old company.
only 3.5-year-old company. And 1 year we shut down because of COVID. So
Yeah, of course.
We have been able to build a very good business
Yeah.
for our customers, and The recent funding round that we have done, we have been valued at 900 crore, and that's a validation in its own that we are doing the right thing.
Absolutely, you're doing the right thing, and I'm sure going ahead, you'll achieve greater milestones. On that note, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, that's all we have for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad Television. Namaskar. Goodbye for now.